Hello, hello, ladies and gentle ladies. Welcome back to another Industria planning stream. And today we're going to continue planning Industria, as the name of the stream would suggest. So yeah, as I said in the Discord announcement, we're going to be going over tin processing, and hopefully we'll have time for oil processing too. Hello Wolfie Boy, welcome to the stream. Hello Super C, welcome to the stream. So yeah, we're going to cover those today. I think that's kind of the next two important processing lines. Now I should say, in terms of planning, we're not gonna I'm not going to try and plan every single processing line in the entire mod before we continue development. That's not the plan. I should note that, but I just want to do at least have a couple of the major processing lines fully planned out, and we'll go from there. Hello Wide, welcome. Yes, another live stream indeed. So, yeah, as I say, let's start with tin. Also, this chat is kind of annoying me. Because it's like, I think it's fine when there's more messages. I just want to maybe move it. Actually, I'm going to move it back down here where we had it before. I think that's the best place to have it. Rather than the top left. I don't know, it doesn't really make a difference. I should probably check where Minecraft is, to be fair. Not that we're gonna open, but don't know when. Let me just okay. Give me like 30 seconds, guys. I just need to sort something out real quick. All right, we are back. Yeah, okay, so let's start with tin. Since we already have the tin process in the mod, that's probably the best to start trying to map out. So, okay, let's open up Draw.io. I don't remember which one it is. I think it's this one. I have a browser one, and I also have the real one. This the one we want. We'll also open aluminium or aluminum. Now that's opened that in the same window. I don't like that. Let's try that again then. There we go. Okay. So for tin, we start with... Now, this is where I'm going to probably spell this wrong, but cassiterite. I think that's how you spell it. Could be wrong. That will go into cassiterite. Boom, bada bing. From there, I think it gets crushed. Not certain, but pretty sure. So let me see if I can already find a... There you go. So that goes in the crusher. I'm just kind of going to do what I vaguely think is correct for now. And we may see that's not the case, but I think this is correct. That's... Yeah, that's vertically aligned. There you go. And then from there, I don't know. So that's where I'm going to have to look at what's going on in Industria to figure out where we go from there. Does Industria have plans for some kind of metallurgy? Missed that comment. Kind of. There is... Kind of. I haven't really planned it out yet, but it probably will exist, yes, to answer your question. I just want to see crusher, raw cassiterite. There you go. That gives you crush. Have I spelled that right? Cassit... No, it's cassiter... Cassit... Oh, I thought it was cassiterite. Cassiteritite, but no, cassiteritite. That's fine. Cassiterite. Yes, I think I am saying that correctly, but it sounds weird. Hello, Lumi the Hedgehog. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, that gets us crushed cassiterite. Now I don't know where we go from there, to be honest. So that's what we're gonna have to figure out. Ingredients, so that goes into here, which goes into the shaking table. That's right. So move this over to my other monitor so I can easily access that. So that goes onto the shaking table, and that gives us cassiterite concentrate, like that, and then that goes into the centrifugal concentrate. I haven't spelled that right. That looks wrong. Concentrate. Oh, I'm missing the T. I thought it looked weird regardless. Yeah, concentrator. So that goes in there and outputs once again cassiterite concentrate. So that just basically will get more concentrated. Exactly how that's done, I don't know. We'll figure that out. From here, I think it goes... I have in my head that it goes in the arc furnace, but I'm not sure, to be honest. Let's have a look. So, come down to recipes, baking table. You may not have a recipe that takes it from the shaking. Oh, we covered this in a previous stream. And we found that we didn't have a recipe for the next step, but it was meant to be something. It might have been the arc furnace. Wait, I think I can find it. Give me a second. It is... yeah, I think it goes into the arc furnace. Yeah, it does. So we just don't have a recipe for that, right? But yeah, here. And there you go. This will be the arc furnace. So yeah, that will come out, and well, first of all, that will also be required with other things. So obviously you don't just put the concentrate in the arc furnace and boom, you get what you want, right? So what we actually need here is we also need whole coke, right? So we can put like up here, whole coke, like that. And then this will output. And this is kind of where there's a choice of like, do we have like a crude step? I think we don't. I think we just have like molten tin, basically. Like that. And let me grab some byproducts. Oh. So we'll have byproduct. Yeah, so I'm trying to like line it up with this, but right, so we'll have that will just go to there, and we'll do the same here. Bit weird, so maybe it should just or even just do that. Probably better. That's not in line though, is it? Okay, so the two byproducts here are just going to be the usual slag. And then there's also going to be carbon monoxide. Are basically our two byproducts there. Now, with the arc furnace, there is going to be a need for having flux. So we can just put like in here, flux. Now, what the flux will be, I mean, really this is just like limestone slash silica. Yeah. Oh, my water bottle just absolutely exploded. And now I am soaked. Thank you, water bottle. Much appreciated. But I'm now actually absolutely soaked. I don't know why my water bottle does that, but sometimes I open it and it just explodes. It's crazy. But okay. It's fine. It will dry off. Yeah, as I say, flux. Pressure, yeah, but I don't know why pressure is building up. I don't know. I think it's because it's come out the fridge, right? So what it's probably doing now is it's heating up, so it's expanding, and then because it has nowhere to escape, it just floats. I think that's what happened. But anyways. So yeah. So I'm thinking flux. What didn't draw IO has dark mode? Yeah, it does, but it's actually one of the cases where I don't like the dark mode. So this is Draw IO dark mode, but I don't like it. To be honest, I just don't like the colors. They're horrible. It very much looks like all it's done has quite literally inverted the colors, and I don't like that. I very much don't like it. So I switch back to light mode and keep everyone blinded. Plus, it's still light. It's a light time of day, so don't need dark mode. You know, if it was like nighttime right now, maybe dark mode's fine. But I just think this looks better. Usually I would go for dark mode though. Yeah, flux. Okay, first of all, let's try out coal coke actually. So obviously we had this in aluminium. See if I can copy this across. There you go. Okay, wait. There's a lot of extra steps here, though, that don't need to exist. Which is basically... Yes. And even this is actually a byproduct, right? In this case. So... that... Boom, bada bing. Boom, bada bing. There. There. Lovely. So now I can take this, bring it down here, get rid of this electrolyte tag that has appeared. Go. Now, there isn't much space to have this byproduct here, is there? Okay, maybe I can just put it like here then, and just have it come out like this side, which I think is fine. Like that can now go there. Like that. That. We can just have well, if we have that in line with that, right? And just put it there. That looks. Yeah. That's okay. Not too bad. Okay, so the next one then is just flux. So as I say, with flux, that's basically limestone slash quartz. We can kind of make that work, to be honest. So what I say we have is we just have limestone and we have quartz. We can maybe say, well, actually, haven't we already done something with limestone? Where did we do something with limestone? Does anyone remember? We did something with limestone. I think it was in the last stream. Was it on rubber? Oh, no, I found it. I found it. Limestone in the rotary kiln making carbon dioxide and calcium oxide. So, rotary kiln making carbon dioxide and calcium oxide. That's fine. So, yeah, I mean, really, that should be limestone should be crushed before it gets turned into, before it can be put in the rotary kiln. But that's pedantics. Okay, that's fine then. So we'll just do this. We'll have rotary kiln. That. Boom. And that will give us calcium oxide, which is more formally known as quicklime. That. And then quartz. Will just be crushed, right? I don't think quartz is going to have any anything special necessarily. So that will just go in the crusher, and that will just give us like, I don't know why that's not like, but that will just give us like crush, which I'll probably come up with a better name for maybe. But for now that's okay. And then I think if that goes in the mixer, boom, then that should basically produce flux. Like, I think that's fine. I think that's a good way to get us flux. And then from molten tin, I'm not going to worry about that. Because we don't have that whole setup. So honestly, that's tin. So tin is actually super easy here, compared to the other ones. So that's good. Okay, fantastic. So what is this? Generate? They have AI in here now? That's crazy. Freehand? The hell? Damn, they have it smoothed out as well. It does that thing where, like, even if I try and, like, draw, like, jagged edges, it, like, smooths it out. I love that. I love when things do that. So everything looks really smooth. Okay, anyways, I'm getting massively distracted by curvy things. So yeah, okay. Next one then is just crude oil. So let's do new, close tin. So we kind of already have a crude oil thing, but we're going to start this from scratch because the old one didn't really make sense. So let me kind of... So how it works right now, I guess I should talk about. You know what I'm going to do real quick? I'm going to just quickly, because this is really bugging me now. diagram/star backup. Also .dtemp apparently. I don't know what that is either. But I don't know why those exist. Is that... Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I think it probably is just temporary. This has changed, apparently. Why has this changed? I literally haven't changed it. Your diagrams on that integration plugin. Sure. Oh, cool. That's pretty cool. W. Not going to use it though because it's less space and it's like really annoying. I don't like it. So yeah, we're not actually going to do that. But cool, nonetheless. And it's much easier than having to open that every single time. Can you dab? No, I'm not dabbing. Not happening. If you asked me that like 8 years ago, maybe. But it's 2026. So no. Okay, what was I saying? I was saying yes. So currently, how oil works is you pump it out the ground with a pump jack, right? And then yeah, at that point, you basically... I don't remember what happens after that. Oh, currently, I think it just goes straight into a separation column. What's it called? Fractional distillation. That's it. So it just goes into a fractional distillation column. But that's not really how it works. Like, you don't just take crude oil and go into a fractional distillation column, right? So, in reality, when you're processing crude oil, right, you need to have like pre-treatment before you can distill it, right? You don't just go straight into distillation. So generally, and I will say I am not an expert on this stuff. But I believe basically you start by like just removing all of the shit that comes with it, right? Because you have to consider that when you're like extracting oil from the ground, it's not just gonna be oil that you're getting. So initially there has to be that pre-treatment. So that's just getting rid of everything that's not the crude oil. So whether that be, you know, salts, water, rocks, sand, whatever, right? So yeah, you have to get rid of all of that. So that needs to go into some machine that does that. I don't know what that would be called. I just know that that's a thing. And then from there, I would read the Wikipedia entry. I see, Wikipedia doesn't really go into as much detail as I would like it to. But sure, you know what? Let's have a look. Oil refinery Wikipedia. Let's see what we've got. Okay, it's actually kind of what I had in mind anyways, but basically this just shows crude oil going into atmospheric distillation, which is fine. That is one of the things I was going to have. And then, yeah, some things would go further. You get asphalt at the bottom, heavy oils at the bottom, diesel, kerosene, naphtha, yeah, all of that stuff. So this is kind of how I based it on originally. I just took crude oil and I said, okay, straight into fractional distillation, which is effectively what's happening here. But this isn't showing everything because it doesn't just go raw crude oil into atmospheric distillation, right? It's missing steps. Now, I'm trying to see, does... Ah, here you go. It's a bit risky showing Wikipedia pages, but hey, it's fine. So yeah, here you go. You start with the desalter. So you take basically the salt and the other stuff out. So that's kind of the initial stage that needs to happen. Then you do the distillation stuff. Then you can do the sulfurization. I'm probably saying that wrong. I don't remember what this one is though. Remove sulfur from natural gas. Okay. I mean, that makes sense based on the name, but why hydro? Where's the water? Hydro treatment. But why hydro? Why it doesn't say why hydro. Hydro could mean hydrogen or liquid. Well, yeah, but sometimes it also means water. It kind of depends. In this case, I think, yeah, it seems to just be, yeah, hydrogen. A hydrogen injector. I see. Oh, so it's just using hydrogen to take out. So the hydrogen is what's taking out the sulfur. Because it's presumably turning it into, yeah, hydrogen sulfide. Makes sense. Okay. So, like, yeah, we can do that. That's fine. Then catalytic reforming. Convert naphtha from crude oil into liquid products like reformate. For high octane gasoline. All of that stuff. Like magnetohydrodynamics, the study of molten liquid metal. That sounds confusing. And then, yeah, all of this stuff. I mean, you can keep going in reality. But I'll kind of we'll come back to those because obviously we don't need to do it all at once. So we're not going to try and do it all at once, right? So what we can let's start with. Okay, no, I need to copy things from aluminium. I need 4 monitors, guys. I really need a 4th monitor. It sounds crazy, but when I'm like streaming specifically, it would be so useful to have a 4th monitor right now. Like outside of streaming, sure, I don't really need one, but when I am streaming, it would be incredibly useful to have one. Because then like I could have the research on one side, I could have one of the other diagrams on the yeah, I could have research, one of the other diagrams, I could have the current diagram or what I'm currently doing, and then I could have OBS on the right. But hey, here we are. Can't do that. I might buy a 4th monitor, maybe. But I don't really have space on my desk. I might have to put it like there, but then I have to move my camera. So I don't know. I'll figure something out someday, guys. Not that it changes anything for you guys. It's literally just me. But regardless, crude oil. We start with a crude oil, what I'm calling a vein. Not quite accurate, but what I'm calling it. So it's fine. And that will go into let's do it like there, I guess. That will go into a well, I'm just trying to think, should I say that goes straight into the pump jack, or should I say that it has to be drilled first? I think it has to be, I'm going to say it has to be drilled first. So drill, with drill tubes. And then I'm actually going to go machine to machine here. Because then I'm going to say... Oh, because then I'm going to say that it has to be oil pump jack. I might remove the oil from pump jack and just call it a pump jack. Not that it's used for anything other than oil, but like just for not, I don't know, maybe. Will crude oil veins be infinite, limited, or a mix? They will be limited. But I'm considering maybe having like a server config option for limited versus unlimited. But by default, I think they should be limited. I say limited, like, I mean, there will probably be effectively infinite. Or maybe not infinite, but like there will be a lot. There will be like, I'm gonna say like, well, I'm just trying to remember actually from testing it, how much did I say there would be in them? I think there was like 50,000 buckets. I think. I'm not sure though. Hello Amin, welcome to the stream. Config works great. Yes, I think config is the way to go for something like that. To not upset too many people. And it means if mod packs want to change it to like balance and whatnot, they can do that. Okay. But yeah, there'll probably be like effectively infinite, or at least very large. To where if you had like, I don't know, 5 of them, then that's all you would need, kind of thing. So yeah, okay. So we'll go oil pump jack. That will give us the crude oil. So we will grab... that just didn't open. A blue one. Lovely. And that will be crude oil. Lovely. Then, well, we're actually going to get other things as well, because there will be gases that you get from a pump jack too. What are the gases? I forget. Gas. I wonder if I can find it. Petroleum gas. That's right. For now, I'm going to put that down as a byproduct, but we'll come back to it. Petroleum gas. Yeah. Just arrow. Okay. Lovely. That's fine. So that will kind of be the major ones, right? And then after that, we wash it, apparently. So what will... I think we have a washer, right? We have a washer, like a machine that we called a washer. Am I correct in saying that? I think so. I think it was in rubber. Yes, we have a washer already, so we might as well reuse that here. Reusing of machines is one of the things I want to try and do as much as possible. Go. Stay in line. Lovely. Washer. So that will give us what is, I guess, formally, I'm not sure if it's formal or informally, but seems to be referred to as crude emulsion. Like that. Then we do the desalting. So we will have so I think this will probably just be in like a desalter. And I think that's fine in this case because this oil processing will be such like a big part of the mod that having specialized machines here is like fine. Because it's just not necessarily a big issue. So desalter, and that will give us a byproduct, which I'm sure you guys can probably already guess what that will be. I also actually, fine. I'm gonna put that like. I don't think what I've been doing. I'm gonna do there. Oh, and we just need to fix all of this. That comes out there, and we'll just do the same thing here. So this, as you can probably guess, will be brine. It's the desalter, so obviously higher point. Yeah, brine out of that. And then from there, you can kind of go a couple ways, right? So obviously you can go straight from the desalter into the distillation column. IRL, obviously it doesn't quite work like that. You'd probably heat it first. The problem is I don't know what I'm going to do with temperature in Industria. I don't know if I'm going to have temperature or if we're just going to have like different fluids of different temperatures, or if every fluid will carry a temperature. I don't know. I think what I've been sticking with thus far is that basically every fluid can carry a temperature. And therefore, we can honestly just come out of here with, like, I don't know a good name for this, to be honest, but, like, processed crude oil or something. There's probably a better name for that. And we'll basically just make it so this then gets heated in the next step, which doesn't necessarily make much sense, but, it's fine. So we will come out of there. That's not vertically aligned. There you go. And this will be the distillation. I think we called it the distillation tower. And this will produce a bunch of things, right? So... And I think a lot of this basically gets processed into other things, but, you know, we'll come out with like bitumen, all of that shenanigans. But straight out the distillation tower, we're going to have a couple things. How would someone find oil? So currently I have a machine, or it's actually an item called the seismic scanner, and it basically just tells you when you're above an oil thing. So it like supposedly looks for seismic stuff. It obviously doesn't really make sense. I think that's more of a temporary thing. I don't have a great idea currently. I'm thinking maybe you place down some kind of machine and it like vibrates like, I don't know, 200 block radius or something, and then basically detects oil within like a 200 block radius. Once again, obviously not super realistic, but realistically it's, you know, a much more complex process. It's just about trying to make it fit and not be extremely tedious or whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna spell that wrong. Have I spelled it right? I don't think so. I think it's like, it's spelled really weird, I think. Things. App. Oh, it's, yeah, I was right. It is weird. H there. Napatha. Weird one, but whatever. Then we have heavy naphtha. Then we have kerosene. Kerosene. Gas oil probably is the best term for that one. And then we have like it seems to be referred to as atmospheric like residue. You gotta remember, this is an atmospheric distillation. Atmospheric residue makes more sense as like a thing as well, so that's fine. Oh, I did not. Okay, now we just have to center these, because that's... really, that just needs to... There you go. Lovely. So these are basically the ones. Gas oil, debatable. I mean, I would call this like diesel oil, but it's not just straight diesel, I don't think. It needs to go through processes before it reaches diesel, right? So like, it's not just diesel as it comes out of here, which I think is why some things just call it like gas oil or you know, similar. You know, like, you could have, obviously it's distillation, so you could have more fractions, you could have less fractions, and kind of get different things in real life, but I think for the sake of simplicity, I think this is fine. So I think let's start... Should we start at the top or start at the bottom? I think let's start at the top, just because that's probably the simplest, to be honest. Yeah, refinery gas, as far as I'm aware, and I could be wrong because I don't know everything about crude oil and stuff, but I think refinery gas is pretty much exclusively for LPG. I think. I don't really think it has any other purpose, but I could be wrong. Maybe some other like butanes, maybe. I don't know, but I know for a fact it does kind of give us LPG. So we can do LPG at least. So in order to get LPG, you need to do apparently gas processing followed by Merox treaters, which can give you, apparently according to Wikipedia, it can give you LPG or butanes, or maybe LPG and so that's fine. Let's see. What butanes? Apparently, I see. Ah, I see. So, what comes out the top as the butanes is butane or propane or methane, that kind of thing. Ethane potentially. Yeah, that seems to be the primary ones that are coming out of that. Let's see. Yeah, that seems to be the case. So in that case, we can kind of map that out then. So we're going to want some kind of effectively gas separator. Now, I don't remember what we did before regarding separator. What did we decide with separators? Did we decide we were going to have a some kind of like gas separator block or a machine, I should say, or did we decide to do it another way? I don't remember. Not open. Sorry guys, I'm just doing some trying to figure this out on my other monitor, constantly switching things between the two monitors, so you'll just have to give me a second until I figure out what we did regarding separation. I think we just used the distillation tower by the looks of it. Yeah. I'm just concerned that might become a little bit of a problem. But okay. So in that case, refinery gas basically just needs to go straight back in the distillation tower. Is that right? Yeah, kind of. Okay, I don't like that though. I think we'd be better off here taking... Okay, no, what we can do here... Yeah, we can do that. Okay, that's fine. So we can come into the distillation tower, right? And then what we want to do after the distillation tower here is this will output us basically two things, right? Or maybe three things. So we can have what we refer to as the fuel gas here, right? So that's one of the things. We can have some kind of like LPG, so maybe we call it the problem is it needs to go through those Merox treaters, so I think we just call it like untreated LPG. Doesn't necessarily make a bunch of sense, but more thinking about this in terms of like, does this make sense to the player? And I think that makes sense to the player. So then we'll have like untreated butane or something. Well, we'll have to figure out a better name for these in a second, but let's just get the process in first, and then we'll configure that out afterwards. And then after the distillation tower, or after we kind of got to that point, I don't know. Oh, I think that's correct. Then we have the Merox treaters. Now, try and find... Okay, I can't really find much about those, I can't lie, guys. Merox is an acronym for mercaptan oxidization, a proprietary catalytic chemical process to remove mercaptans from LPG, propane, butanes, light naphthas, kerosene, and jet fuel by converting them to liquid hydrocarbon disulfates. Alternative processes for removing them are known, such as Doctor sweetening process. What the hell? Okay, some crazy things there. And caustic washing. Interesting. We'll stick with the well-known one, even though it's proprietary, but it's fine. So, what is mercaptan? Oh, this is organic chemistry. How exciting. Wait, of course it's organic. Why am I saying entire thing's on? Okay, in organic so apparently they're called phiols. Phiol. Phiol. But like, what is... This is what I'm looking at, by the way. What the fuck is this? Hello? Ribonucleotide reductase. What are we? Physical properties. So this is mercaptan, by the way. Oh, Merox, I think maybe is actually the thing that comes out of it. Oh no, Merox is the actual process, I think. Most common, aha, here you go. Methanephil. Ethanephil. I've never heard of any of these, I can't lie. But like, what actually are these? Oh, here you go. Cool. But what are they? What? I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. Let's see what ChatGPT says, because Wikipedia is not giving me anything. I mean, there's this, but like it doesn't produce the amino acids epiphenine, which is a dietary component in poultry and animal feed. Oh, it's also used in the plastic industry as a moderator for free radical. Okay, this is getting a little bit beyond me. By a little bit, I mean a lot. This chemical is also used in the natural gas industry as an odorant. Ah. Interesting. Okay, let me see what ChatGPT has said. So, it's an organic sulfur compound. Think of it as roughly the sulfur analog of an alcohol. Okay. But what are they for? It says they don't need to exist. It says they don't need to exist because, which makes sense, because if it's just dumping like a bunch of random like chemicals out, I mean, who cares? Like, I maybe could produce it as like a waste product so that you have to somehow dispose of, otherwise it depletes the ozone layer or something, you know, like something crazy like that. But I don't know how far I want to go with that kind of thing. I've asked Big Man what it like, is it bad? What it says. Okay, I'm thinking though, if it's just sulfur contaminant, could we not just have it like byproduct sulfur? Be a good way to get sulfur. It thinks I should add the consequence of air pollution or acid rain. Okay. It also recommends that this is called sour LP. And sour butanes doesn't make sense, but we'll come up with a better name for butanes here because that's a different thing. But yeah, there's an idea there, right? Acid rain. And maybe acid rain would be interesting. I mean, obviously IRL, acid rain isn't what you think of as acid rain, you know? You're not getting burnt by acid in acid rain. That's not how acid rain works. It's not even close to being as acidic as that. But for the sake of Minecraft and for the sake of it being a consequence, I don't think it's that bad, right? So maybe we just make it acid rain. I think let's do that. Let's do that, guys. I think that's a decent like consequence. Like maybe we make it so the machine just like if you have to put it through the Merrick's treaters, right? But if we say that this machine, what is acid rain then? Acid rain is what it says it is, right? It's rain that's more acidic, but it's not actually raining acids. The rain is just more acidic than normal rain. So like I think acid rain can like damage concrete, I think, but like I don't think it hurts. Does? I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I've heard this though. Yeah, here you go. Acidic rain does not burn or melt human skin when you walk in it. It's only about as acidic as vinegar or tomato juice. Direct content feels no different from normal rain. Yeah, basically acid rain is like it hurts the like soil. Like it, I'm pretty sure it can corrode concrete, right? But like the worst part about it, I'm pretty sure, is that it can kill like biological life because it's, you know, acid. It would make the soil more acidic, so you have like worse crop output. That could be something that happens, right? Like you get worse crop yields or something. Maybe it even kills your crops if you have too much acid rain. How do you implement custom weather though in a local area? I mean, basically just by having it not be weather. Just like fake it being weather. So just have a new system that pretends it's weather, but it's actually just some Industria system, right? So like you would just have it so the world would store something that says, okay, from XYZ position in a 200 block radius, render some acid rain particles, right? So it would basically just pretend to be a weather, but not actually be a weather. I think that's probably the way you'd do it. Because you can't actually register a new weather type, I don't think, because I'm pretty sure it's an enum, which is yucky, but I think that's the way to do. I think that's the way to do it anyway. That's how I'm kind of planning it in my head. Whether that works in reality, I don't know, because I've never touched custom weathers. But I'm actually not going to put this as a byproduct, but I'm going to have it be like a red one. Reason being, because we're going to have a processing line that goes from here. So this will be, and what do we want to call it? I'm thinking we just call it like, I mean, apparently it's commonly referred to as disulfide oil. So maybe just call it that, I guess. But I mean, that's fine. Oh, there you go. And then this will be, well, you have two things here. So you have, these are actually like two different things. So you would have LPG. Yeah, I guess this should be split out, really. So like this should be like that. Disulfide oil, LPG. And then I would just duplicate this. Didn't work. Oh, fine. That has also worked. Okay. Oh, that's also just okay. Fine. Do it this way then. Okay, let's just bring this down somehow. That's not going to be symmetrical. I'm not going to be able to get. Okay. Just gonna, it's going to have to be roughly. I think that's roughly right. So yeah, this will give us our butane. Merrick's treaters. This will give us the disulfide oil, like that, and then we'll have the butane. I'm gonna put star on. Those need how do you get XP in this chat? I'm pretty sure it's just from talking. Like the more you talk, the more XP you get. If you like donate and stuff, I think you get more as well. I don't entirely know how it works because I don't use YouTube live stuff, but I think it is just like how much. It's also like, I think it's spread out as well. So if you just like talk a bunch like in a row, it doesn't necessarily do anything, but it's more if you have like back and forth talking. Obviously to prevent like spam and stuff. But I don't honestly know much more about it than that. But yeah, I don't know much about viewer side of YouTube. I probably should, but I don't. So yeah, what we can do, let's do disulfide oil, because I think this one should be okay to kind of deal with. So here we need to do a apparently it's called hydro treating. Find something about hydro treating. It's just knowing it's called hydro treating is not particularly useful. Find much about it on it. Hydro treating, here we go. So it reckons we do this in something called a catalytic reactor. Just going to look at what we did, because we had a catalytic something in, was it aluminium or was it rubber? I remember we had something catalytic. Oh, we called it a contact converter. Is that still accurate though? I think so. I think so. So what we'll do... So, I mean, LPG, by the way, that doesn't go anywhere, right? From here, we have LPG. That's kind of the end of the line. That's the end of the line for LPG. Then butanes come back to. So really, this can just go like anywhere. Like to get that. So this can go in a contact converter. That's... Now what it would be good to do here, I think, is just put some like text that says this can be vented, however doing so will produce acid. I want to get that on a sync. And I'm just going to put the same thing up here. Okay, so it can go in a contact converter. Shall I enter that? Yeah, let's do that. So that'll go in a contact converter. At which point it apparently produces hydrocarbon steam. Oh no, hydrocarbon stream. Let me try and find something about this friggin' bisulfide oil. I'm not having much luck here. Oh, it's commonly referred to as DSO. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, apparently it's mainly just used in... It's like hydro treating. But contact converter here will be fine because we'll just have a catalyst. I don't know what the catalyst is, admittedly. But something that needs to go into there is hydrogen. Apparently, okay, apparently the catalyst is this is gonna be an interesting one. So apparently the catalyst usually used here is nickel moly. Never say this one. Molybdenum. I can never say that one. You know, let me see. How do you pronounce? How to pronounce that? Molybdenum. Don't like that. Molybdenum. Sure. So apparently we have a in here nickel molybdenum, and that goes in the contact converter. Also with hydrogen, which hydrogen's an interesting one. Don't have hydrogen, right? What have I done for hydrogen in the other ones, now that I think about it? Because obviously there's tons of ways you could get hydrogen. Have I even touched hydrogen? I actually don't think I have. And as I say, there are tons of ways to get hydrogen. Hello Ilya, welcome to the stream. I'm gonna put hydrogen here, guys, as yeah, you may be useful. We're currently kind of going through. Actually, you know what you'll be most useful for here, Ilya, is this. The butanes that come from refinery gas. Because I don't really know what these butanes are. I just know that there are butanes. So if you happen to know what that would be great. Yes, or you could tell me about hydrogen. I don't know necessarily what the simplest process. Main way to get hydrogen differs. There's a lot of methane anyway. Oh, yeah. I mean, hydrogen is just one of those things where you can get from like basically any reaction, right? Yeah, I think for hydrogen, I'm just gonna put as like an input because you can just get it from so many places. No point doing all the different one. Yeah, it looks like in the other processing lines, I did it as steam reformation, so natural gas and steam, which works, I guess. I'm not going to do that here. Yeah, we'll just say hydrogen is an input rather than something you produce, because you're going to have hydrogen, so it's fine. We do need to figure out a way to get the nickel. I've already forgotten how you pronounce it. We need to figure out a way to get the catalyst. And then, yeah, we also produce, so let's just move on for the minute. We'll come back to that. Why are you not centering? Oh, center, please. I don't know why it's not. That's got to be centered. Oh, is it because it's is it a tool? Nope, I don't know why. Butanes are C4 carbons, butene, butane. I don't know what it's used for off the top of my head, but for example, camping gas. Yeah, that makes sense. Let me Google it. It's used for. Yeah, primarily portable cooking stoves, fluid for lighters, and propellant and aerosol sprays. It can be used in manufacturing base chemicals like butadiene to create synthetic rubber and plastics. Interesting. That's the most interesting one then, because we're not going to have lighters or cooking stove. Butadiene. That's a weird word. Okay. In that case, I'm just going to say this is sour butane. And we'll get rid of the other ones you said. So, like... yeah, so what is there? So there's butane, isobutane, 1 butene, 2 butene, isobutene, and then there's dienes, so butadiene, and then there's also I don't know how you say that one. Butines? I have no idea. Butynes and cyclobutane. Interesting. Yeah, so butadiene is produced synthetic rubbers and various plastic. So in that case, I don't necessarily want this to just be butane. Maybe... I don't know. I don't know what to call it. If it's kind of both, if it's multiple, no. It looks like some of the other ones are used as well. Like apparently isobutene is used to make MTBE. We call it C4 cut. Is that actually a thing? That's a weird name, no? Oh yeah, you're right. I mean, of course you're right, you're the chemistry guy, but I've never heard that before. Interesting. Okay, that's a weird name, though. I don't necessarily know that, C4 cut. That's it. That's really weird. Is a fuel additive? But why? Why do you add it to? Is it just is it an odor one? Or does it have different benefit? Makes you feel better. Let's see. I'm just kind of considering like how far do I want to go with things? Like, do I want to have fuel additives? I feel like the problem with fuel additives is like, how do you represent a fuel that has additives? Right? I feel like that starts to become like a bit of a usability nightmare, because you could just end up with like 10 variations of the exact same fuel, but it has different additives. I'm probably not going to have additives, I can't lie, because I feel like that just overcomplicates things for not much benefit. So I think we'll not have the additives. But okay, fine. If we go C4 cut, we want to get butane. The two primary ones that I see are butane and the other one. I've already forgotten what the other one was. Butadiene. That one. So how do you get that from C4 cut? That's the question, right? How do you go from that to butane and butadiene? Have I spelled that right? I think so. You distill it in a very tall distillation tower? Okay. Okay. That's what I needed to know, Ellie. That's fine. Do that. Okay, bye-bye, Super C. Welcome. Or, oh, am I saying welcome? Bye-bye. That's what I was trying to say. And these are very tall one because the boiling points are notoriously close to each other. I see. I'm not going to remember that. I can't lie. You might have to remind me this in the future, Ilya, because I can't really put that in this diagram. So you'll probably have to remind me in the future when I actually go to implement that. But that's fine because I plan to have distillation towers be kind of variable anyways. So I will hopefully make it easy enough that you could just configure that and that won't be a problem. But okay. Okay, I think we're onto something here. So this produces LPG. Where were we with the contact converter? We get LPG. No, we don't get LPG. I was just copying across LPG. You get hydrogen sulfide. Wait. Before I sound stupid. Okay. I thought... Okay. Hydrogen sulfide is basically just ammonia, right? It's not ammonia, but it's like the same thing. Is that right? Or am I being stupid? I'm probably being stupid. Maybe I've just always seen hydrogen sulfide linked to ammonia rather than be the same thing, actually. But yeah, regardless, this gives hydrogen sulfide. Why I did that so far? Oh, I see. Okay, that's fine then. So that gives hydrogen sulfide, and then also apparently it gives some other stuffs. Okay. Apparently the other stuff is just some sulfur-free hydrocarbon. So the nickel moly. I'm just gonna say moly, nickel moly. By the way, I'm not gonna say the rest because I can't say it. The nickel moly catalyst can also just be nickel or moly if you don't want to add both. I see. I didn't know that. But presumably there's a benefit to adding both, right? Oh. Nickel moly sulfide? I don't really know what this moly stuff is. Never. I've like heard of it like once or twice, but I don't know anything about it. Like, I don't know if it's like used for things or if it's just like one of those random elements that's not really used, or like I literally know hardly anything about it other than that it's a metal. That's all I know about it. Let's see what Wikipedia says. It's primarily used to strengthen steel alloys. Serves as a petroleum refining catalyst. Oh yeah, roughly 80% of mined moly is added to steel, cast iron, and alloys. Moly disulfide functions as a high-performance dry lubricant. Interesting. Cobalt moly sulfide is also used. Interesting. That's actually useful to know because you do have cobalt. Okay. So this is sulfide. Let me just add text here for ata. Do I need to do that anywhere else? I don't. Done it. Catalyst stuff. So it can either be that, or you're saying it can be cobalt. Like, I don't really know how to represent ores. Is that right? Yeah. Say, can I do like new line and just put it like small and say catalyst is U4. I feel like that's clear enough. Does present a weenie problem. Let's kind of make some more space here. I'd rather have it up at the top. That, and just put it. That's messy, so I will put that in there. Hydrogen, I'm just going to put down here instead. So that is like less messy. Okay. I just maybe we can just, you know what, we can just bring this out like that. Oh. That's okay. That can go like that. That can go like that. That's better. That's more clear to me. So we have hydrogen sulfide as an output, and then what was the other things that could be output? It was sulfur-free hydrocarbons. So refinery gas, apparently. Which is... oh. Wait, so can you just loop it? I guess? Oh, because it's recovery, right? That's the entire point. So you can get refinery gas. Okay. That's... okay. We're almost there with this single line. So hydrogen sulfide apparently needs to go through sulfur recovery. Exactly how that happens, I don't know. Like, how do you convert? Like, how do you get that back in the cause process? I have heard of that one. I don't know anything about it, but I have heard of it. Apparently it's with a C though, Ilya, admittedly. But yes. Primarily industrial method used to recover elemental sulfur from gaseous hydrogen sulfide. Okay. Modern clause. Oh, it's kind of complex. Basically this. So now to consider, how do we simplify this? Is there a better diagram, Ilya? One that doesn't make that look so complicated? Oh my god. It's like 10 pixels. Okay. This looks simpler to me. So oven separator, oven separator, oven separator. Yeah, okay. I see. I'm just thinking, like, how do we want to do that? So, what is the hydrogen sulfide? That's a gas, right? That's the problem. It's a gas. So, like, I can't just, okay, shove it in a furnace. Because furnaces can't take gases. Okay, apparently how it works. Some of the hydrogen sulfide is burned in oxygen. And then that gives off sulfur dioxide, which reacts with the hydrogen sulfide. I think, if I'm understanding correctly. Okay. So what it says. Okay, the problem, biggest problem here is that we need some kind of, as you said, oven, right? Which we don't have. So wait. think we have a chemical reactor. Or did I decide to just replace that with the mixer or agitator? That's a good question. Yes, I just decided to replace that with the agitator, which doesn't make any sense here. Okay. In that case, we're gonna have to add some kind of oven machine. Because I don't know how else we would describe this process. So, fine, we'll have some kind of oven. Why not? Good. Okay, cool. And then one is agitator, one is flow through, for example, like parallel. Yeah, but I don't think agitator makes sense there, right? Yeah, I feel like agitator doesn't make sense. Okay. Well, we can do like oven contact converter, right? But it's just like, what are the intermediaries? That's the problem, right? It's like, what are those intermediary items or fluids or gases, whatever it may be? What is that? Because it has to be something. That's kind of the biggest problem with representing a process like this. 1 second, guys. I'm just gonna go and close. Oh. Back. Don't want to let all the bugs in. What do we have that intermediary be? I mean, it could just be like, because like even after the oven here, that's just heated up, right? That's the problem, is that like at this point all we've done is heated it up. We haven't actually achieved anything. So when this comes out the other side, that's still hydrogen sulfide. Oh, apparently, is it hydrogen sulfide plus water? Yeah, I think it needs to take in oxygen. What have I done for oxygen, by the way? Okay, oxygen, I'm going to do the same thing as I've done with hydrogen and just pretend it exists, because realistically, you're going to have oxygen. Right. So I think that's... oxygen. Okay, not hydrogen. That would be rather explosive. Okay, so we say that goes into the oven. What does that give us? That gives us... Am I right in saying that gives us sulfur dioxide and water? Is that right? I'm pretty sure that's right, no? The sulfur dioxide and water. I think that makes sense. And then it's just a matter of getting rid of the sulfur dioxide, right? So the sulfur dioxide, I think that's what runs over the contact converter. That. Water, I need to say, is a byproduct. Oh, I haven't used that for this one. Oh, what the hell? What the hell is happening? Hello? Why is it doing this? That's the thermal step that happens in the oven, and the catalytic step is dioxide. Yeah, it gives sulfur and H2O. That uses, yeah, titanium or alumina. Yeah, apparently it can be activated alumina or titanium dioxide. What's activated alumina versus alumina? I don't know what that is. What does that mean? Activated alumina is manufactured from aluminum hydroxide by... Is that just what I've called alumina? Or is that different? Well, Wikipedia says that activated alumina is what's used for sulfur removal as the claw's catalyst. And it says specifically activated alumina, not alumina. I think we can just use alumina, though, because we already have alumina as a result of the aluminium process. Albeit meant to be an intermediary, but it's fine, I think. Activated alumina is calcined alumina? What does that mean? What is activated? Activated alumina is... It doesn't actually give me the chemical formula for it, so I don't actually know what it is. Very porous, it comes from the kiln. Okay. I see. Over Al2. Oh. So it's just a different structure, I'm guessing. In that case, I will just probably keep it as alumina rather than like complicate. There's the 1 second, not brine as a byproduct. Probably fix that here. That's meant to be water. Was it alpha alumina, gamma alumina? Yeah, that's just too complicated. There's no need for all that. We just want to put in alumina. I'm not going to put the whole process for alumina because that's from aluminium. There's just no point doing that whole thing because we have alumina, right? Alumina is here. Yeah, alumina comes out of the rotary kiln from here. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We can just use alumina as the catalyst. Boom. Okay. So what does that give us? That gives us the sulfur and what was it? Water? Sulfur dioxide. What was it? Sulfur and put sulfur. Well, sulfur is a green one because that's the end. Butane, once again, that's the green one. BG, that green one. Okay. Okay. What's the other thing, Ilya, that comes out of this? Was it water? Sulfur and water, yes. Okay. Wait, but where does the water come from? That's not from the sulfur dioxide, right? Like, where's the hydrogen? Oh, I see. I see. Oh my god, why does it keep doing this? This is gonna drive me crazy. Hello? Oof. Why is it doing this? God damn it. Okay, there we go. I got it. Okay, that's a bit weird because it feels like you're just putting sulfur dioxide and magically getting out water here. But since it's just water, I think it's fine. You know. If it was like something crazy, then maybe not. But yeah, since it's just water, it's okay. Okay, have I missed anything is the question. Very important question. Because I probably missed something, right? Refinery gas, I kind of want to loop back round. See if I can do that. Set up. Like That loops back round. And obviously, guys, remember, this is not meant to be perfect chemistry. That's not quite the point here. It's just meant to somewhat make sense, and you know, like, we're gonna skip steps. There's gonna be steps that are skipped because we don't need the whole thing. You know what I'm missing here? I'm missing these two. Nickel moly sulfide and cobalt moly sulfide. These are going to be complex ones, aren't they? Okay. About these. Oh god. Oh no. This looks messy. Remember, the catalyst in some cases are something you load into the reactor once when you place it only during maintenance every 3 years. Yeah, that's fine. So apparently these catalysts are kind of a pain in the bum to make, huh? So okay, apparently they usually use nickel nitrate and ammonium heptamolybdate on Y alumina. I don't know what Y alumina is. Gamma alumina. Okay, right. We're not having gamma alumina, right? We're just having alumina. So, okay. The annoying part about that is how the fuck do you get nickel nitrate, ammonium molybdate? Alumina's fine, but how do we get nickel nitrate? Nickel nitrate, most commonly found as hexahydrate. I don't know what that is. Is nickel nitrate something that's in the nickel processing steps? Maybe? That would be lovely. Nickel nitrate. Bro, it's like kind of cool. It's like this cool green color. It looks very cool. Or maybe not cool. It looks weird. I'm trying to find like a good image of it. They're all kind of like really low quality. It looks very not real, to be honest. Apparently this is nickel nitrate. Okay. Now how in the friggity frick do we make nickel nitrate? So nickel oxide or nickel carbonate with dilute nitric acid. Hello Wide, welcome back. We're currently working on the crude oil process. Specifically the catalysts for recycling the disulfide oil. Which, by the way, Ilya, if you have a better name for disulfide oil, please let me know, because I don't know if that's correct or not. But I couldn't find a better name for it. So that's what I settled on. Just say that nickel nitrate is made by reacting nickel ore with nitric acid. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Need to figure out how to get nitric acid, but we can figure that out. Okay, so what's nickel? Nickel ore is just a thing, right? There isn't like a... It doesn't have like a weird name. Is that right? Or does it? I'm trying to remember what I've done for Industria. Nickel ore? Okay, nothing's showing up. That suggests I don't have nickel ore. Oh, is nickel... No. Huh. I don't remember what nickel is. Nickel... You know, I can actually find it in the recipes for smelting, maybe? But I don't have a recipe. Oh, nickel comes from pentlandite. Is that right? I don't know if that's correct. Oh, pentlandite is iron nickel sulfide. That's why I've got that. Yeah. I think with nickel, there's like 10 different ways you can get it, and I think that's the one I picked. Don't necessarily know if that's the best one, but I think that's the one I went with. Nitric acid is its own process, I can explain. And there's also sulfuric acid. Oh, garnierite is the oxide ore. That's the one I was thinking of. I was going to say galena, and I was like, no, that's lead. And I was like, I'm sure it begins with a G, though. I couldn't think of what it was. But yeah. Okay. So pentlandite. So can we use pentlandite is the question. Probably not, right? Because of the stuffs in there. But apparently you can use nickel metal plus nitric acid, and that works. So that's probably the easiest way. Is just say nickel ingot, whatever. Doesn't necessarily make sense. I think that's so if you can just use the ingot, like, then that becomes so much simpler. So this needs to come in with, what was it? Nitric acid, right? We'll have to figure nitric acid. Let's put this in first. This is already getting very complex. So, okay. You probably want a crushed or powder form of the ingot. That's true. Yeah, because you're not just going to put acid. You're not just going to put metal in an acid. Or at least not quite like that. That's fine. We can just do... like... I don't really know how this fits my my process here. I think we'll say crush nickel. Which actually, in that case, should probably just be blue as well. Fine. Crush nickel. And then we'll just put in a crusher. And we'll put in... That's not aligned, is it? Nickel. Boom, bada bing. That's in there, and that's in there. Okay, and then these combined gives us the nickel nitrate. Okay, we need a lot more space for this one. Like, holy moly. Because this alone, this needs to go in, like, we'll probably use agitator or mixer. I don't know. I really need to make a distinction or get rid of one of them. But let's do agitator. Cool. That gets us nickel nitrate. Then we need ammonium ammonium molybdenate, which I bet that's a pain in the butt to get as well, isn't it? Ammonium molybdenate. And alumina. Okay. These should be like there and there. Like that. And then these get combined to make some mixture. I don't know if there's a name for that mixture. Apparently, wait. Okay. Okay. This is getting quite complex now. We'll probably end it soon, guys. If possible, let's try and finish these catalysts, and then we'll end the stream there. Now, if that's too much, then we won't get that far. Nitric acid will probably leave for this stream. We'll just say that's there, because I think nitric acid isn't super easy, but if we can get the rest of this stuff, well, really just ammonium molybdenate and then whatever happens after this. So how do we make this then? Okay, lone wolf. That is. Let's time you out for a bit. Oh, post nitric acid we in the Discord, basically water and ammonia. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I will look at that probably next stream. I'll look at that. So how do we get this? Let's see. Okay, apparently it's technically ammonium heptamolybdate. Does it matter though? I don't know. Maybe? But apparently that comes basically straight from the ore, kind of? Doesn't look too bad, actually. So, okay, first of all, this needs to be okay, it looks to me like we have like molybdenite, which is the ore. I'm gonna put molybdenite ore so that I know that's the, even though it's pretty still. Doesn't look like that. I don't know why I drew that line. Oh no, that's fine. This is just the next one. That's fine. Then that needs to go in what's being referred to as a roast. Remember, did I decide anything with a roaster? No, I think I just said rotary kiln is a quote-unquote roaster, which I think is accurate enough. So rotary kiln. Okay. That in the rotary kiln will give us what? That gives us molybdenum trioxide, like that. That gives us this, apparently. Spacing is annoying me here. But we can. It gives us that, and it gives us sulfur dioxide. Interesting. Okay. That's more of a byproduct. That's byproduct line. Side. Why has it done this? There we go. That's messy, but it's okay. Nice. Okay, that's good enough for me. Actually, let's do that. That gets us that. Then we have so that plus ammonia in the crystallizer. So okay, so this plus ammonia. Ammonia I'm gonna put down as one of these input, because we're gonna have ammonia from so many different places. So we'll say ammonia like that plus that. That will go also in the agitator. That. What the hell is happening here? You need hydrogen to make ammonia, so you need to make sure it isn't an impossible. How is that an impossible loop? Like, what's the problem with hydrogen? Like, why do you need ammonia to make hydrogen? I don't think that's the impossible loop we're going to experience. I can't lie, Ilya. I think there's going to be other issues. Like, I think sulfuric acid might be one of the issues. Of, like, maybe you need sulfuric acid to get sulfuric acid. But I don't think ammonia will have that problem. Hopefully not, anyways. Okay, so kind of thinking I just like go straight from the agitator into this, which doesn't necessarily make tons of sense, but it's basically close enough that I'm like you know? So go. I'll just put a Lumina in the middle. Okay, so once we're here, where do we go from here? Once we have that, these go in the mixture to make supposedly some catalyst mixture. Okay. I'm once again actually going to use the ad. I feel like I'm settling with using everything. Bada bing. Those in the agitator supposedly give us some like intermediary thing, which it claims is just a nickel moly solution, or not solution. It classes it as a catalyst mixture. There might be a better name for that. We'll have to come back and look at that one. Because that's a horrible name. And then that needs to go in a furnace. Needs to be dry. Do I have? No, I got rid of the dry arrow. Furnace wood. Bing. Okay. We need more space. By the way, guys, this is literally the crazy part about all of this is this is all for refinery gas. We haven't even started light naphtha, heavy naphtha, kerosene, gas oil, atmospheric residue. This is gonna be the biggest one so far, but maybe even total. I don't know. I have to see. Okay. So this gives us a oxide. I'm just gonna put a mixture there, just because I don't like having the part and this. Okay. Then plus hydrogen sulfide and hydrogen. Is that a problem? That might be a problem, right? Because you need hydrogen sulfide, but like to get the hydrogen sulfide, you really need to come through here. Oh, apparently you can just use elemental sulfur. Okay, that's fine then. That's not a problem then. So we'll just have sulfur, and the other thing is right. Okay, and that gets us. Oh, that needs to go in this light. In that. This is the cat list. Okay. And that gets us right place. Our sulfide. I mislabeled the catalyst. Oh. No, why does it keep doing that? Oh my god, it keeps puffing up. Yeah, whatever. Okay, fine. I'll just move it up. That's fine. It's the wait, what's that? I don't know the I don't know the chemical formulas for these, Ilya. Nickel, molybdenum, sulfur. Where's that? It's no, the sulfur is the catalyst, no? Is it not? Oh, no, it's not. You might be right. So is that the catalyst? But no, that can't be the catalyst because the entire point is that this goes in here to get this, right? So surely the sulfur has to be... Wait, but the sulfur can't be the catalyst either. That doesn't make sense either. I don't think this should actually... No, this isn't right. This isn't a catalyst. This is just a mixer. Just an agitator. That. That's what was weird. Because the sulfur couldn't have been the catalyst, because the sulfur comes out here as well, right? So that makes more sense. I think this byproduct's water as well, right? I mean, like, that's not too... Yeah, but... it's probably worth mentioning that, like, that byproduct. That. Alright, good night, Ilya. Thank you for your amazing chemistry inputs. I would have struggled a lot more without it. As everyone saw yesterday. So yeah, much appreciated. I will look at your nitric acid tomorrow as well. Well, I say tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be streaming tomorrow. So maybe Wednesday, but we'll see. Speaking of, guys, I think we're basically done anyways, or at least not done, of course. We're nowhere near done. But I think this is enough for today. I just wanted to get that sulfide done. Yeah, the cobalt one seems to just be the same as nickel, pretty much. Just with nickel instead of cobalt. So we should be able to do that one fairly easy. But not today. So yeah, I'm going to end the stream now anyways. We've made some pretty good progress in mapping out oil, and obviously this is one of the most important processes, because oil, you know, is oil, you know, all the different things you can get from oil, so very useful and a good way of getting things like sulfur as well, is always lovely. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next stream, which may be tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, I don't know, we will see. But yeah, I will see you all then. Good bye.